to get in drawers.
So I've seen them. I've seen evidence in my drawer. Yes.
Yeah.
We get in whipping cream draft horse or doesn't.
Oh, that would
Cream draft horse.
that would be harder to pick up
I
after.
would say that would be the
They're not-
droppings from that would be much larger.
They're not.
Shuttle you back and forth. Like
Ready to go. I'm going to call to order the subcommittee on Senate File 163. And let me organize myself here really quick. I'm just going to coming around all day. Okay, Senate File 163 amends Chapter 124. Everybody knows why we're here to have the conversation. So, having said that, Senator Trone-Garriott, any opening comments?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Senator Campbell, any opening comments?
Not at this time.
Okay. So, neither do I. We'll move around the room like we typically do. If I recognize you, please tell me who you are, who you represent, what your position is on the bill. I always start right to left, but I'm going to start left to right this time. So, switch it up. My fourth subcommittee in this room today, I think, and I've gone right to left, so we're going to go the other direction.
Well, it's my second one with you today. Mr. Chair and Senators, thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Robert Palmer on behalf of Med Firm. Just to not have the duplication, I'm going to go ahead and cede my time over to Dave.
Thanks. My name is Dane Schuman, represent Med Farm, Iowa, registered in favor of the bill. We appreciate you bringing it forward. What this bill does is it allows for the sale of vaporized cannabis flower to medical cannabis patients only in the state of Iowa. What you see in the draft you have in front of you is a list of what is actually current forms of cannabis that can be sold to patients in Iowa that we would codify with the bill, with the exception of the form that appears on line 20, which is really the only addition that the legislature would be making passage of this bill in 124E, the section of code that governs this. The reason it's important is because at least there's about 18,000 patients in the program, but realistically, we serve about 5,000 to 6,000 monthly basis. And the number one reason that we hear for patients not turning or choosing not to be in the program at all is because of the cost of products. Right now, a gram of THC, if you want to try to make it equal in terms of making a comparison, is about $100. And you have to bear in mind that when they do that, because of federal banking restrictions, patients are often coming in with being forced to shell that out in cash for a 90-day supply. And that gets awfully expensive for people who, by definition, have debilitating medical conditions. Makes it difficult for them to work like it would be for me, for example, many of us. And so this form will allow us to drop, Med Farm to drop their prices probably in the range of about 50%. And so I brought Lucas Nelson here with me to kind of explain further what this means for them. Over to him, if that's okay.
You bet.
I appreciate your all's time this afternoon. I'm Lucas Nelson, Group President at Med Farm, Iowa. Just for a little bit of background, we're a family-owned scientific company. It's based right here in Des Moines. We're closely connected to Campbell Industries, which has been based in Des Moines since the 60s and was founded by my grandparents. We've been licensed to operate in Iowa's medical program since 2018, which is when the program started. And at that point, we invested more than $10 million in the facility we have just over there. In 23, we completed another expansion, which brought our total investment in the state to $20 million. We've created more than 50 full-time positions in our company, and many of those are focused on STEM. Probably gives you some sense of just how deep our commitment is here to Iowa. Like Dan mentioned, the purpose there is to introduce vaporized flower into the program. If you take nothing else away from what I say, the chance for us to lower costs for patients by 50% is extremely important for those patients. Like Dan mentioned, we've got about 18,000 people in the program right now, but we're only seeing about a third of those. Consistently, time and again, we hear from our patients, cost is the big holdback for them, the big burden that they're faced with when they come into the medical program. So I will note that over the years, we've dropped our prices multiple times, tried to show our commitment to that issue. In doing that, just on our own accord. And at this point, we're looking for a little bit of help to continue to be able to do that. I think it's important to note that this form is safe. It works for our patients. Our state's medical cannabidiol advisory board even noted in a report that this would, quote, provide more balance of cannabinoid exposures, especially compared to the refined products that are available today. And this program, as you all know, is very highly regulated, including having the ability to remove patients who would abuse it. So with that all being said, maybe I'll just share one testimonial from one of our patients. A patient from Elgin, Iowa. He has MS. And what he reports is that, he's an entrepreneur. He used to be a hunter, fisherman. If you can imagine making a fist with your hand, when his condition strikes, that's what his life is like. And medical cannabis has, been able to give him just a little bit of his life back. So it's not solving his MS, but it's helping him deal with it. And being able to provide a affordable product like a vaporized flower that can also help him very quickly when these attacks strike is going to be incredibly powerful for him and for hundreds of other Iowans out there. So we're here to be a resource on this. Appreciate your all's time and consideration, and looking forward to getting this thing done to help our patients.
Couple questions, if you don't mind. So right now the code is kind of, I understand that medical cannabidiol, right? That's what we're changing the definition of, because we're striking those. It's kind of wide open right now. So we're going to define these things specifically, which I understand. And you talk about cost savings. So what's the most prescribed method currently that you prescribe now for the medical cannabis?
Right now, it's the vaporized oil products.
Vaporized oil products. And so then you're saying that the cost on the vaporized flower product is considerably less expensive than the vaporized oil product.
Considerably.
Okay. So then does it change dosages? I mean, it also means vaporized oil to flower. I mean, am I buying more of the vaporized flower product? You see, I'm going with it, right? I mean, so is that a fair question? Or
Sure.
I don't understand.
No, so the way we dose, the way we instruct our patients to use this is based on the amount of milligrams that they're able to get.
Sure.
And so whether we're talking about a tablet, a tincture, the vaporized oil, or vaporized flower, what we're going to be recommending for those patients is a number of milligrams to take at any one point in time. And so we'll be able to deliver those milligrams in a cheaper form here by allowing vaporized flower, but it isn't going to change anyone's individual dose.
The vaporized flower is delivered in a container based off of the prescription, I'm assuming, right? I mean, so is it, I guess, I'm trying to understand what this looks like.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I get something that has flower in it that I like. Then that, when I'm done with it, that's one dose. That's done. I want the next dose, right?
Right. So if you can imagine what would happen, the flower would be ground up, and then those are going to go into small dosing capsules. That's going to be put into a vaporizable device.
So it's a reusable vaporizable device, the capsule is what you insert in that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand. I didn't know how to envision what this looked like.
Yeah.
So thank you for helping me.
We can get you a couple of pictures after
Yeah.
too, if you want to see it.
Perfect. Awesome. I don't have any more questions right now, but maybe we'll come back. So
You
I'll
bet.
keep moving on. Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chip Baltimore, I'm also a Connecticut farm, so kudos to what they said.
David Edelman, now third subcommittee here.
subcommittee, yes.
Appreciate that. Representing Iowa Cannabis Company along with LS2 and Courtney Craig. We're supportive of the bill. Don't need to be duplicative of what Lucas has said. We operate our dispensaries in Council Bluffs, Iowa City, as well as Waterloo, and grow as well, and service the patients appropriately.
Awesome. Okay. Right.
Earl Ramey, Iris, I'm a manufacturing producer for Kismo Hemp. 2020, I reached out to the board to apply for a cannabidiol manufacturing license. I chose to go with the hemp because of the raw situation before 2023 inflammation that stopped THCA flower. As of now, we can get THCA flower as a patient right to our doorstep ordered. I think that switching the program up a little bit, not allowing vaporizable flower will eliminate cost, and it's way more efficient. By far, so much healthier. If you've been in the Senate for a while, since 1979, you guys have been working on the situation with marijuana and medical uses. And Delta 8 was created, and Delta 9 was created in a pharmaceutical and pharmacology lab in the 80s, right when the AIDS patients were having issues. I grew with AIDS patients, so I've been a fan of the plant for a long time. It does cost significantly less, a whole lot less. It's 50 to 70% safer. Dosing capsules. I use dosing capsules. I take Molden, which is a herb, because we specialize in herbs and cannabis, infused natural products in our farm. I take that dosing capsule and I put the mold in it, and I take the wax or whatever they provide with the medical side, and I'll put it into the dosing capsule with that mold. So the dosing capsule talks about is small, but they are so efficient. It's insane. I would suggest maybe adding a home grow to your program too. That would lower your cost on your patients by 95%. Any other things that I could put in input is just, I know that the Senate's dealt with this since 1979. I know that a lot of things have been pointed at the consumable hemp side. I chose the consumable hemp side because it costs $150,000 to get a manufacturing license to produce the same products. And our manufacturers do a great job with this. But raw flower is, are we going to introduce THCA, or are we going to introduce THC to the market for legal standpoints, or what laws fall in place there is the biggest thing. And what benefits does this bring to Iowa manufacturing base? You know, we're looking at these products. I got a picture of one of them being shipped right to your door, and like he said, it's more efficient to have it in state. You know, THCA shipped right to your door. Look online. It's right there. High THCA. THCA is a precursor to THC. I do believe the vape pen was THCA when first introduced. Once that's heated and used, then it turns to THC. The biggest issue we have with the synthetic cannabinoids and stuff, and we found this out over the years through pharmacology and pharmaceutical grades of this, is that the kid can eat a gummy and get intoxicated. If you have raw flower sitting in your house, your kid's not going to intoxicate it because it's not intoxicating at all until you heat it or cook it. So it's way safer and a better place for anybody to have in possession. It's just the laws that Iowa has all around it. So if you get caught with a consumable hemp product you order offline as an inhalable product, you go to jail for a pack of cigarettes. It's legal next door to us is under the Hemp Act. So combining a lot of this, these programs, and kind of getting a fluctuation for all of this would be good too. It's going to increase your medical side significantly. You know, the consumable hemp side, you can fall under a lot of laws that states are going to micro businesses. Under, I do believe you're following the laboratories of democracy. They would set your own state plan, and it's legal for the state to do that. I would like to see that. Michigan does a real good job with this. It's one of the places Bud & Mary's has their businesses too. They've done a good job. They're one of the biggest producers out there. I'm for it. I think it's great.
I appreciate your testimony. I think you're outside the scope of the bill. I appreciate it very much. We'll keep moving around the room. Yes.
Good afternoon, Teresa Harms. I represent the Iowa Hemp Alliance. I will provide this proposed amendment that we would like to offer today. So we believe with the new definition that is outlined in Senate Bill 163 that it is inclusive of consumable hemp in the state of Iowa. And so we would recommend the language here first. I think we should consider moving the definition to medical cannabis. That is not my hill to die on, but it's one that as a pharmacist senator, you might appreciate. If we're going to talk about science, we use appropriately specific scientific names that are consistent with the product itself. And then essentially we want to make sure that anything in this chapter excludes the hemp definition as defined by federal code, which is federally legal product. Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bet.
Jacob Schrader with Green Day Cannabis. We're in support of the bill for the reasons that Clark outlined. We're supporting the medical marijuana program.
Thank you.
Scott Seals, Climate Heights. We support the bill with the same concerns that Teresa had, making sure that hemp is carved out and getting included in that program.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Bill Jennery with the Iowa Hemp Coalition. We're registered neutral, kind of comparing the same concerns that Teresa had. We want to make sure that we're getting the definitions right. And right now, I think we're just kind of mingling things and saying one thing is what's really not. So I want to make sure that we're very clear on it.
Thank you.
Hi, Cheney Yates, Plain Children's Hospital. We're monitoring this bill. Just want to bring your attention to the fact that the Iowa Medical Cannabidiol Board intensively studied this issue after receiving a petition in 2023. And after that intensive review, they came up with a recommendation unanimously to deny adding vaporized whole flower to our medical cannabidiol program. So I would encourage you just to look back at the minutes and the annual report of the board. Maybe see a little bit more. I think you all created the board to be able to sort through the medical research, looking at pros and cons as we look at our program of expanding it. And so just consider their concerns. I would also ask you to think about when we look at a body of research about kids and diverting use of medical cannabidiol, vaporized one is one of the main forms that they choose, kids vape. And so we would have concerns from the children's aspect of it, borrowing, using someone else's legally access to medical cannabidiol. So for your consideration.
Thank you.
Amy Campbell, Iowa Behavioral Health Association. I'm the only person registered opposed to the bill. We are the substance use providers in the state, mainly because, as Cheney said, you created the medical cannabidiol board, or your colleagues did, for a reason to vet and look at these from an interjurisdictional look with physicians and others on the board. And they did look at it and deny it. So, I mean, that's why we have that board set up, so we wouldn't have to come and continue to add to the code repeatedly on that. We generally are opposed to flower because we already have the high potency vapes. I understand the cost issue, but if we want to be a medical CBD state and not fully legalized, then I think we need to continue to look at what our medical doctors on those boards are recommending. I would also just add, everybody likes to say this is safe, not safe. It may be safer than smoking, or it may be safer, but it is still not safe when you're inhaling products into your lungs. There are lung injuries happening.
Thank you. Anybody online? Seeing nobody, I will, does somebody raise your hand? No, okay. Seeing nobody, I'll move to Senator Trone-Garriott for closing comments.
Thank you. I'm willing to sign off to keep looking at this issue. I am a little bit concerned about putting the specific products in code and then having to keep update that as the market changes. But I appreciate the concern that it's out of reach for some folks in terms of affordability. But I do hear the concerns about access for folks who shouldn't have it too. And that continues to be an issue for any regulated substance. So I'm willing to sign.
Okay. Senator Campbell, any closing comments?
Too many. Not going to sign. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to sign and move this bill forward. We're talking about medical cannabis here is what we're talking about. We're talking about giving patients access to options. I'm more than happy to continue the conversation moving forward. I think, we can continue this conversation on its way to committee, address some of the concerns we've heard in the room. I'd like to see more data maybe on cost benefit to the patient to continue that conversation. But again, we're talking about medical cannabis here. The state, Iowa legally has medical cannabis available. There was a committee today that advanced out of Commerce, increasing actually the number of licensed medical cannabis sites in the state from 5 to 10, I believe. So from the doctor's perspective, giving this as an option, I think is essential. I had a very interesting presentation yesterday from some folks from Johns Hopkins that actually talked about how beneficial this is in pain management as opposed to opioids. So that also, I had some concerns with this. I'm telling you, but after seeing that, I do feel that this is an alternative that we should continue to explore in the state of Iowa. And if this helps lower the cost and make it more affordable, I think it's worthwhile having a continued conversation. So looking forward to moving it on.
Thank you.